Teyonah, John, thanks so much for chatting with me today, and congratulations. I went into this movie completely blind, and I had so much fun watching it. I've watched the two of you in so much, and this is the most I've ever enjoyed both of you.
Oh,
I think in anything, actually.
Thank you.
Teyonah, your character Yo-Yo is so unexpected in this movie, just in some of her choices. And she, you know, the movie requires you do these long monologues with you know, this unbroken takes. You're moving around, you're doing the thing, you're putting, you know, getting something out, putting something away. What kind of challenge is that to you as an actor? Like, does that make the scene harder to do?
For sure. And in that scene, I think the one you're talking about, which is the opening scene where you see Yo-Yo and Slick, was especially challenging because that was my first day on set, the very first scene. And it was all of that text where I was still trying to figure out different shifts in what I'm trying to accomplish, but also Jamie Foxx is right here. And this is my scene partner, and it was our first time. Like, we didn't have rehearsals or anything, so I could get to see his vibe, nothing. So I'm like, I'm sweating bullets. So there's a line in there where Jamie improv'd it. He's like, slow down, Yo-Yo, for your ass, pass out. That was the truth, because Teyonah was about to pass out. I was so nervous. I was so excited. And so that really, like, cracked me up and just allowed me to loosen up. But he was so generous and just there, present for me. And so even saying like jokes like that, it's like, okay, you're here with me, you're listening, you're being a part of this process. So it was fun, but that was incredibly nerve-wracking. I'm not gonna lie. I was very nervous. It's like, it's Jamie Foxx. Jamie Foxx. And this is what you want to do, Joelle? The first scene up? Okay. So yeah.
John, you play, I think we can say, because the movie is called The Cloned Tyrone, you play multiple characters in this movie. For you as an actor, like, does that make your approach to the role harder to make all of them sort of distinctive? Does that make it easier? Like, what's your approach like?
It's a bit of a challenge, but it's a fun challenge in a sense. It's not a challenge that cripples you, because obviously the support is there. You know, Teyonah's there, Jamie's there, Joelle's there, ultimately. But it's more so just more to the logistics of it all, the technicalities of it all. You got to have a plan for that. So, you know, movement, speech, you know, vernacular, tone. You have to have that all planned to kind of have the individuals. Because I said to Joelle, if my three characters in one scene, if they can't tell the difference, then I probably haven't done my job right. So we're just aiming towards making sure that there was a distinctive, kind of subtle differences between all the clones. You know?
It totally works. It totally works. Now, you mentioned tone there. One of the things that blew my mind about the movie is it's extremely funny in places, and it's actually like white knuckle scary in places too. When you're doing scenes, how does Jewel direct you? Does he direct you to say, okay, this is a funny scene, I want this to be more upbeat, this needs to be more somber?
Joelle, I would say, really left it to us to figure out, and then there were moments where he was like, look, man, I think we gotta bring that, you know, a little bit. And so I definitely relied on his vision and his barometer of what's too far and what's not, because it does go the scope. So for me, I think I tried to make sure I just tried a bit of both, and I was like, maybe in post they'll figure it out, because it really just depends on what came before, how funny we're gonna do that, or where you're gonna land with that. So I just have fun just playing, really.
That's great.
And that's a man that knows his dialogue too. I think sometimes he would say it, you know, he would just knows it like it was the Bible or something. He just recited everything. And so he would just like say it back to you in terms of, you know, how he saw the tone in his head, and you'd be able to go off of that, you know.
Does he have you guys improvise much?
I mean,
that was a
on
natural
a set with Jamie Foxx, I think you're just gonna have to let that improvisation happen. Yeah. But he was totally open to it. I think what we were good about was doing what was on the page first, what Joelle and Tony wrote, and then from there we got to expand and have some fun, some more fun, because what's on the page is really fun.
Yeah, it is. Most definitely. What was the hardest scene for you guys to do?
Technically, I think the hardest scene is for me, when they are in the lab in the suits and they realize what's going on, and then that bathroom scene, because there was one camera and there's three actors who are all talking, and the way Joelle wanted to shoot it to keep, I'm imagining, to keep the energy and the chaos of it, it was quite a challenge, because he had to be in this very small space with us, and we had to figure out really choreography of who's where, so the camera can catch you when you say this and when you say that. So that technically was very hard. It also was at like 3 in the morning in hazmat suits. So, you know, that was a lot to maneuver for me.
Sure.
I'd say fighting myself. And then having to make sure that the movement matches the, you know, the little double print that they do on top of the scenes. Yeah, you have to kind of make sure that the movement matches the last previous thing you've done. So anytime I was acting with myself, it was kind of like the technical side of it was like a lot to learn.
That's wonderful. Well, congratulations both. The movie's terrific.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
so much.